Welcome to the Coach's Corner. Had a small technical difficulty. Want to make sure everybody was able to watch us and view us. Welcome back to another episode of the Coach's Corner. It is D here, and we have a lot to talk about and cover today. We have Coach Shannon Harris, which I'll bring in a minute. They just came off a win in San Antonio. They beat the Brahmas 32-24, so they are now sitting at 5-2. They come home this week and we have a lot to talk about. Okay, we're going to talk about the game. We're going to do our fan Q&A. We're also going to talk a little bit about Mental Health Awareness Month, which I'm super excited to hear Coach Shannon talk about that. Shannon Harris talk about that, and we got your questions. So let's get it started. Let's bring in the man of the. Hey, Coach.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going. It's going. How you feeling after the victory on Friday? I was about to say Sunday, but it was Friday.
Right, yeah, I feel great about it. And as before we always start, no matter what interview it is, God is amazing. That's for
Yeah.
sure. So, very grateful for all the opportunities and everything else that comes along with it. But, yeah, huge win for us on Friday, so we're excited about that.
Okay, now I want to talk about. I always want to highlight the goodness. All right, win or loss, I'm gonna highlight it. Jordan, 278 yards and passing, 3 touchdowns. You had three receivers over 70 yards this week. That's great. It's in the right direction, trending in the right directions. 10 different receivers getting action this week, trending in the right direction. And Mr. 74. Mr. Gunner Britton in the end zone for a touchdown. On the defensive side, two capitalized off of two turnovers. You had two fumble recoveries, one fumble recovery for Hines with a touchdown, and then one to seal the game at the end. So, and then 3 sacks. Wallace with 2 and Roberson with 1. Just wanted to highlight the goodness that they captured on film this week. And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was a huge win for sure. Those guys showed a lot of grit and resilience, stayed focused and stayed in the fight for sure. And yeah, I mean, I tell you, I mean, with all that being said, for the thing that you just mentioned, with 3 guys, 3 touchdown passes caught, another one, ran in by Dion, who's been playing exceptionally well for us. He and AB for sure. And then, my man Gunner, right? How about that guy, man? He did a really good job of, and we've been practicing that play for at least 3 or 4 weeks now, and so,
That's
and I have
exactly
been
what the
telling him
fans wanted
the
to know.
entire time, like literally, he caught it every day in practice, just like that. And I'm like, dude, just catch it with 2 hands. I need to make sure you're gonna catch it, right? So, so we have been prepping with that play for a while now, and so, and it came off of, one day I was just doing my morning walk, before practice that I do every morning,
Mhm.
and listening to my gospel music as I'm walking the field. And he's one of the first guys out, him and and Anderson, right? So,
Okay.
and I just happened to ask him, like, can you catch the ball? Because we have been in that formation for quite some time throughout the season.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, coach, I played quarterback at one point in time in high school. And I
Okay.
said, well, you sold me then. That tell me you're a good athlete.
Did
So,
you say corner?
no, quarterback,
Quarterback.
quarterback.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I was like, he played what?
yeah, he played quarterback, So,
Okay.
so I said, you sold me. I said, well, we got to play for you, okay? And we'll put it
Mm.
in. And, we have been working that play, like I said, for at least 3 or 4 weeks, and just waited for the right moment. And Friday was the right moment, and he was ready for the moment as well. I tell you, and those guys have been practicing their celebration for at least 2 or 3 weeks now. So, and they was all on cue with it. So huge
Now, do
win
you know
for
that
us.
song?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Look, I only
yeah.
know what's on the internet. I don't know. I don't know what the song is really about, but just that little.
Exactly right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was happy for him. The O line room was very excited for him, and you could see the excitement on their face and how they celebrated. So, definitely excited for those guys.
Yeah, man, that was awesome to see, especially the time of the game. You
Right.
guys got into rhythm early, And then if you could talk a little bit about you scored the touchdown. Eventually, it gets called back because they challenged it and it was a holding.
Hmm.
It was a holding.
Yeah. It was a holding. Yeah. It was a clear holding. It was like could have gone either way, but
Right.
we talk to our guys all the ways about making sure that they're playing good with their feet, don't put themselves in position to be able to hold. We have really good athletes on the field, but it was bang bang. Braylon, so far he's had 3 touchdowns in 3 games, so he's playing
Yeah.
exceptionally well for us. And so it was great to see him get off to a fast start, but unfortunately that touchdown was called back, and then of course, later on in the game he caught a big one
Got
for
one.
us, and that was huge, for what he did throughout the course of the game. So
Yeah, man. I'm happy. I was happy to see him in the end zone because it was just great to see that first drive just end the way that it did. Obviously it didn't end the way you wanted, but it just felt good. Like you got that first drive kind of monkey off your back. So I was happy for them. Now we're gonna go into it being Mental Health Awareness Month. I think that it is something that we don't talk about enough. And I would love your take on mental health as a coach, and obviously you've been a player at one point in your career. So just tell me how you feel, the importance of it, and kind of how you. We'll talk about how you cope with it or deal with it later. But just tell me the importance of maintaining your mental health.
yeah, I tell you, that's something that's so important. Maintaining your mental health is that I know for us, for coaching and for the players, uh, we pay close attention to it, and it's recess for us when it comes to being on the football field.
Hmm.
But at the same time, we know the importance of taking care of our mentals. At the same time, guys are human. Everyone, coaches and players. We take times off. We give these guys time off, probably more than they should. But at the end of the day, it's such a physical game. So we make sure that they get back and take time off to reflect just on things outside of football, and just have a life within itself. We only here for a short period of time within the season, but at the same time, we know the importance of, if we want these guys to be locked in, dialed in, and staying focused, staying in the fight. We got to make sure we take care of our mental health for sure, and whatever that may look like for people. So uh, that's the thing we do. Make sure that we give guys time off to just sit back and reflect, and just how that, because it's such a physical sport, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, we have to make sure they take care of their bodies and their mentals for sure.
Is there something that you do? I know you talked about something a little bit earlier. Um, is there something that you do that helps you kind of mentally balance yourself?
Yeah, personally, for me, I'm big in my faith. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's what give me my peace, knowing that I'm faith driven,
Yeah.
and I just give it all to God. You know what I mean? Anytime there's a situation or any extra stress that comes about, I just let them fight my battles on that part, and that's where my peace comes from with it all. And that helps with my mental, and just the good support system, people around me. So that's where it all come from. And you get a chance to just sit back and reflect on everything else outside of that. So uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I make sure that and we have a Bible study every Wednesday.
Okay.
So that's huge for our guys as well. And
Yeah.
then of course on the road we have chapel service. So we invite guys. It's not nothing forced on anyone, and we always have a
Mhm.
good outing. But it helps with our guys for their mentals as well when we do Bible studies every Wednesday at noon, and then well, I'm sorry, not at noon, but at like 3:45 or whatever after we
Mhm.
done our team meetings. We have Bible study every Wednesday, and then of course on the road wherever we plan at, we have chapel service.
That's good. That's great. And I'm glad that you guys have ways to exercise and you guys give players the space to deal with some of that mental exhaustion that comes with a league like this.
Mhm.
I can only imagine the physicalness is one thing, but dealing with those mental situations is a whole nother. And I just want to highlight it because again, we don't talk about it enough in sports. You're supposed to be these big buff dudes, and you're supposed to go out there and be physical, but nobody cares. A lot of
Yeah,
times it's about what's going on with you mentally.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, you're talking about a human,
Yeah.
not just the athlete or the player or whatever. You look at these guys; these some big dudes, you right? So,
Mhm.
so we want to make sure still, that mind is something that's valuable to us all.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna pivot here a little bit because I saw you guys had a nice little lunch. And I was like, you know what? We're doing Coach's Corner on Tuesday. Taco Tuesday is a good little, ring to the Coach's Corner Taco Tuesday. And I was like, we should have fuzzy tacos, sponsor the segment. Maybe even the fan segment. We should have fuzzy fan Q&A.
Yeah, I tell you, Fuzzy man, Matt McCrane. He talked to the team. I had him speak to the guys Thursday night.
Mhm.
Chris Rowland and Robeson, they all said their spiel to the team.
Mhm.
And one of his thing was, guys, we take care of business. Lunch on me on my in my restaurant at Fuzzy. So
Yeah.
Fuzzy never let us down. I tell you, that's a good place to go eat. And you ever down here in Texas, find a Fuzzy's for sure.
Yeah. So look, I can't wait to try me a Fuzzy's tacos. And shout out to Maverick Crane. I love it. I love seeing guys being able to bring the things that they do outside into the league and y'all be a family and partake. So shout out to Fuzzy Tacos. We're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
indulge when we come to Texas.
that's right. Yeah.
So now we're gonna get into the fan Q&A. And I feel like we're not live on Instagram, and I'm sorry, I've tried it twice. It's not working. So I don't know what if they're mad at me, but I apologize to our Instagram family. I'll figure out how to get it over to you after we're done here, but I apologize. So, with that being said, one of our questions is, do you feel there has been an acceleration to guys making it to the NFL, or do you feel like it could happen faster?
Yeah, I know throughout our league and
Mhm.
players that having that opportunity, and this is what our league is for, to have opportunity to get back into the NFL. But one thing about these guys, they're NFL ready, and so a lot of these guys go into these NFL teams once they leave, whoever team it may be. They're ready to go plug in and play right away. Because they've had time to play, they got some good tape, they already in shape, and so the part you want to make sure guys are healthy when they get there.
Mhm.
So we've had a numerous of guys that leave us and go right into training camp once our season is done and go to multiple teams and be ready to plug in and play right away. And we still have guys that have signed multiple deals already. So that's just what we're here for. I
You
know
said
for us,
already?
well,
Oh, you
from
mean
the
previously. I was like,
previous
wait a
years,
minute. No,
yeah.
I was like, okay. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
previous
in
years.
the
So
past, and yeah, previously you guys
yeah,
have.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've had a good group of guys that have gone on to sustain their playing time. So
Mhm.
that's what we're here for, and throughout the entire league. I mean, this league is flooded with talent.
Yes.
And so as you see, games are very close. You can't always look at the records. These
Mhm.
teams are equally matched. It just come down to execution on a few plays here and there.
It's the tape. It's the tape, and that is the thing that gets you those phone calls is your tape. And I
Absolutely.
like you just pull it all and put all the goodness on tape because there's things that could get on tape that you don't want a team to see that could make or break them giving you a call. But it's personally a game of mine. I like to, you know, put my money down or write the names down of the guys that I think are gonna get the calls.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and my list is long right now. It's a pretty long list.
There you go. There
It's
you
a
go.
pretty long list. Now, hopefully, it gets longer, and I'm pretty accurate. So I'm excited about to see how
Yeah,
that all plays out. Because
that's
there's
right.
some guys that I don't even know why they they haven't been called already in the past year. I don't
Yeah,
understand, but it's not new.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're hoping for the best for all these guys.
Right, absolutely. Now, next question is there was a challenge, a super challenge that you used, and it was to point out a defensive holding. So, a fan wants to know kind of what happened there. What did the refs kind of tell you? Because obviously it wasn't successful, but we just kind of want to know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, we thought, well, we knew that it was a clear holding or tripping or whatever the guy did to Cornell Powell. He was the one who we threw the challenge against, and what came back was that Jordan was starting to leave the pocket, which he was still in the pocket, but they say that by rule, he was starting to leave the pocket. And I teach these quarterbacks, the defensive guys are so athletic and explosive throughout our league and the NFL and college and everything now. Defensive players are just so much faster now.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to try to escape the pocket by any way means necessary without getting hit, right? So, but he was just climbing into the pocket and, still both hands on the ball. So they felt like he was in a position to where he was running the pot, leaving out the pocket. But I'm like, I teach that,
Mm-hmm.
guys got to be able to escape these defensive dudes because they're so much bigger, faster, stronger. But it was unfortunate that we didn't, win the challenge because they say he was in a run mode.
Yeah.
But my argument was that, but he was still in the pocket, and holding is holding. I don't care where you are. You can be on
Yeah.
the moon, holding is holding.
Exactly.
So, but those are things that we fight with, and we talked about it afterwards, and that's what it was.
We have a Briley Moore question, which I'm excited about.
No,
Is
yeah,
Briley Moore doing one-handed catches often in practice? Or how often is he doing one-handed catches in practice?
yeah. The one thing we teach receivers, tight ends and quarterbacks, there's always an opportunity where one of your hands gonna be locked on the defender. So here's that how you need to catch the ball and focus on the ball. So we teach one hand catches, at times because we know that you're gonna get tangled up some kind of way.
Mhm.
Just as long as you take your eyes to the ball as you're trying to catch it, no different than if you're doing it with two hands. So yeah, those are things we teach, and it comes second nature. But he's been a pro at it since he's been with us for sure. He's had a lot of big time one hand catches
Yes.
throughout the career here with us for sure. Even dating the last 2 years. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's crafty. He's very very crafty dude, and very athletic. Got good hand-eye coordination. So that's his thing.
He's getting a reputation for the one-handed catches. I love it. This question is about you. And what are some of your favorite things to do off the field?
Uh, me hanging out with family and doing those things fun with the family and uh, outside of that, I love fishing. I haven't had an opportunity to really go here in Texas yet. It's so hot here
Yeah.
during the off season, but
Do they
during
have
the
like a
season,
lake or something? Because I'm like,
yeah,
in Dallas.
there's plenty of them around here.
Okay, okay, okay.
But the biggest thing is just doing those type of things. Spending family time for sure. And I love fishing. Like I said, I haven't had an opportunity to really go here in
Mhm.
Texas, but um, once we're in season, you're kind of locked in too. You
Yeah,
don't have much time,
you know
a
what?
whole lot of time to do that. And even when the players are off, no days off for us as coaches.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Now, are you a reader? So, what is your favorite? Do you have a book? This isn't a question of mine. It's not a fan question.
Yeah,
What are some
yeah,
of your top books?
yeah. And I don't do much reading uh,
Hmm.
um, throughout the course of the day and all of that. My mind already be going 100 miles per hour, and maybe that's a hobby that I need to pick up and
Yeah.
starting to read. And um, I do have a book that I have been reading though. It's called "Restored at the Roots."
Okay.
From Bishop Joseph Walker from our church that we attend back in Nashville,
Okay.
and it's a great read. To keep your foundation for sure. And so that's the one that I've been digging into for sure.
My problem when it's a good book, I don't finish it sometimes because I don't want it to end. That's probably
Yeah,
my problem. I
yeah,
don't know
which
if anybody else
like a
struggles
great
with
movie, right, or a great
yeah,
meal.
like wait, I don't I don't want to be done, but also I can't say I've read all of it because I didn't want to, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right, one more question from me. What's a pre-game ritual for you as a coach? I know we ask players this all the time, like what's the thing you listen to, what's the thing you eat. I don't feel like we get this information from coaches.
Yeah, for me, when we get there, the first thing I do is when I get into the locker room is I pray. And
Mm-hmm.
so just, thanking God for the opportunity, right? And then just for making sure we get there safe. And
Yeah.
so, I get in my little room and do that, close the door, and then I come out and I walk the field. I know you've seen me walk the field before, but
Mm-hmm.
people think I'm just walking as whatever it may be. But when I do a full circle around the field, I just pray over the field and make sure it covers, for a while we there, and then I just sit back and go sit on the bench and watch the players do their thing, right? And then at the same time, I'm getting a gauge on my man Matt McCrane as far as how he feel in the kicking game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So once he's done with kicking and he come up to me and give me what his range is for that day, and then I'm back into the locker room getting ready for the game.
Okay. Like I always see it. It seems like just a calming peacefulness. I never want to bother y'all when y'all in y'all group, y'all pre-game groups of, I speak or whatever, but it's just like, I feel like it's just like a tunnel vision moment in time where y'all just mentally downloading, uploading, whatever it is. So I can appreciate the pre-game rituals.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Everybody have their own thing,
Mhm.
for what they do, and that's just mine. And that's just get me at peace. For what I do, I know for sure. So oftentimes I hear coaches be like, "Well, they so stressed out, about the game," and I'm like, "Man, the plan is in, right?" So,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever happens at this point, it's gonna happen. So
You
that's set my
prepared.
people. Yeah, absolutely.
Prepared.
Preparation is separation for sure.
I love that saying. I was repeating the I not when I'm trying to say it, I cannot say it. But the other night after the what is it? The terror must be maintained.
Oh yeah.
Empire is doomed, and they like, what is? I'm just saying it to someone that obviously doesn't watch DC Defenders, and they were like, "What are you saying? Like, you sound crazy." But I was so hype off the win. I'm just running around talking about the terror must be maintained,
That's
and
right.
he
That's
thought I
right.
was
Got to
insane.
protect the empire for sure.
Insane. Okay, now coming up, you guys are back home. Finally, they are back home this weekend, this Sunday at noon at Audi Field. You are facing the Renegades. Are we anticipating? I know we're not anticipating. We're not anticipating another like throw for throw from Perez and Jordan. What are
Yeah.
we anticipating this week?
Yeah, I tell you, man, Arlington is a well coached football team. Of course, leading that group of guys is Coach Stoops, and I tell you, those guys are tough. They're
Yeah.
tough, and they're coming off of a heartbreaking loss against Michigan the other day, which I thought they had that game won in the bags, and there were some unfortunate things down the end that happened, against them with a flag, and then gave them opportunity to go for three again, and at the 5 yard line and gave them a shorter chance to go in there and to win the game. But they're gonna come in, ready to compete. I was talking to the team the other day about these guys. This is one team that we've never beat like twice in a row. And so it's always been dating all the way back to 2023. We beat them in the last game of the season.
Yeah.
We ended up losing to them in the championship game. Last
Mhm.
year, we beat them at home, and then at their home stadium. Then they came to us, and
Mhm.
then it was a hard fought game. They came back and beat us at the end, and here we
Yeah.
are again. It's in the team that we've played these guys very close every game. Regardless
Mhm.
of what the record may be. So we got that in our mental notes. That's part of our mental wellness this week is making sure that we know that Arlington is ready to go after each other. One of the coaches on their staff, the defensive coach, linebacker coach, he was one of our coaches when I played back at Tennessee State.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So he's a great dude, and Tommy Thigpen, and I love him to death, man. So those guys are gonna be ready to come after us for sure. And
Mhm.
same here with against those guys, and we're preparing the right way for it. So we're excited about the opportunity and to get ready to compete against these guys.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be electric because it's been a while since you guys been there. We already talked about this beer snake, the noise, the crowd. all of that. So please, DC, be prepared. I'm gonna put, I usually don't do this, but I just want to show the fans some love. We got a couple of fans. The terror must be maintained on Empire's Doom. Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. Say it
That's right.
again. We got to put that on the t-shirt. Cornell Cornell Powell's getting a touchdown next game. Shout out to TJ. We are hoping for that as well. Everybody get a touchdown. You get a touch. Everybody gets a touchdown next
That's
game.
right. We're gonna do the Oprah show, right? You get it. You
I'll
get
be out there, so I'm excited. I'm like all these celebrations, all these touchdowns on the road. Like, bring it! I can't wait to see it at home.
yeah,
so
yeah,
I can,
absolutely.
so I can get it all on film.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as we prepare for next week, and you look at the numbers and you look at the standing, you see how the guys are doing. Jordan still, you got the top 1 and 2 guys in passing yards in this league. Is that tape of Perez? I don't know why he reminds me of Joe Flacco. He just, I don't know what it is about him. It just gives me Joe Flacco. Is
Yeah.
that tape something that you're just zeroing in on this week?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one, because it's the next game, right? So
Yeah.
Perez, I mean, he does a great job. And, I had questions, in some interviews earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
about him. And, the one thing about it, he's not flashy. He's
Yeah.
not, a guy that going to wow you with his athletic ability.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about, from a mental standpoint, and that's the one thing we talk about with football, the old saying, 90% mental, 10% physical. And
Mm-hmm.
so he definitely will beat you with his mind. He
Yeah.
he does a great job at anticipating his throws and knowing the defense and all those things. So we just got to be able to, give him some good looks. It's like those old school Pittsburgh Steelers defenses trying to play mind games with Peyton Manning
I'm
or
telling you,
Tom
like,
Brady, right?
when I watch him, it takes me back to Joe Flacco and the Ravens against the
Yeah,
Pittsburgh. It just, I be like, what? I don't know what it is about him that reminds me of Flacco, and I could just be making this up. But now
yeah,
I want to
yeah.
watch Flacco's film and and Perez's film and see
Oh
where
yeah,
I'm getting
that's
this
right. Yeah.
similarities from.
You talk
Because,
about, Ray Lewis against Peyton Manning and those guys, right? Trying to play those
ah,
mind games. So, um, and that's the thing with us this week. We just gotta, be mentally locked in and stay true to what we do defensively, and same thing offensively, and you know, go from there.
yeah. Any last word? You guys signed a new guy today. All right, have you seen any film on this? I mean, obviously, probably seen some film on it. We haven't. We're all new here. Any thoughts
Yeah.
on that new signing at all?
Yeah, Seth, he brings some additional big playability for us,
Hmm.
especially on the offense side of the ball. We're excited to have him, and this is his first week here. He just got here, so
Getting
we'll see.
adjusted.
We'll get out there, and we've been force feeding him already. It's in the meeting room, so trying to help him get caught up as much as possible. It's not so much of what he needs to know from a playbook standpoint. It's more of knowing what we're doing game plan wise. So
Hmm. Hmm.
he, like I say, he add an extra addition to that room, and the guys we already have. So
Right.
those guys are going to welcome him in and with open arms and get him caught up to speed as well as much as possible. He was a teammate of Kevin Harmon with the Cowboys this
Okay.
past season, so we got a good report from Kevin, about him, and he's a dude that we know that fit our culture and fit the room with the receiver group as well. That's the one thing we talk about here is our culture and what's the foundation of who we are. We're not a selfish bunch of group of guys. We just come in and bring our hard hat, our lunch pail, and our work boots and just go to work.
If I know anything about Vaughn, he is definitely trying to help cultivate and maintain that culture on that in that team in the locker room, and I respect it and I love that.
No question. Yeah, I tell you, man, Vaughn has done an amazing job for us throughout the entire season. Knowing how to get the right dudes in here throughout the course of the season. When some transaction need to be made, he know the right guys to get because he know the foundation of what we've built here. So that's the beauty of having someone in here that understands everything about what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and anytime I see something like a spark, or if I don't know a guy, like I'm like, who is that? Like, Don, give me the rundown. He's like, this guy from here, to this. Like, he'll give me. And I remember, was it Combine?
Hmm.
combine. It was like combine. Is that what it's called? And we're going through, and I'm like, I'm looking at the players and seeing what different guys are doing, and I'm like, Vaughn, who are you? Who are the people that highlight to you? And I
Yeah,
love like when we're looking at the same guy, I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. I'm seeing some of the same things. So shout out to Vaughn. He
yeah,
definitely
no doubt,
has
no doubt, no
an
doubt.
eye and is good as what he does. All right. Well, today that takes us to the end of the show. Is there any final words you want to wrap up with as you guys come back to the DMV?
Yeah, I tell you, we need the Audi as rowdy as possible this Sunday. I mean, we need it loud because we need as many false starts as possible. And that's the thing. Against these guys, we need these guys to make sure that they. It's hard to communicate, and we're excited to get back to Audi for sure after being away for 3 weeks. And we owe it back to the fans, for our last home outing. So that's the one thing we want to do: make sure we come back to Audi and give our guys a good showing. Our goals are all still intact, so that's what we want to come back and make sure we get them accomplished.
Yes, still at the top of the XFL division. So you guys heard it. Adi, bring the noise, bring the family, and make it rowdy. Zay says he got you. They got you covered. The folks in the comments are ready to be rowdy. So I'm excited. I will see you all there. Cannot wait, and do not be late. I know how
We
y'all like
need
to
we
be on.
need not only the beer snake to just be rowdy. We need that whole place rocking, right? And the beer steak just add extra incentive to it.
Mhm.
No
I
lemons
love
though.
it.
Don't stay away from.
We're not allowed, but listen. Just
Yeah,
just bring the voice, be loud.
yeah. Just
All
you
right.
might just sneak one or two in there though.
I can't say it. I can't say it. Next thing I know, they were like, "Where were you at the game?" Like they wouldn't even let me in. But yeah, but I appreciate you, Coach. Can't wait to see you guys this weekend. Safe travels to you guys, and we'll catch you next time. And
Appreciate it.
thanks
Looking
for
forward to it.
everybody in the chat and that sent in questions. I'm sorry. Thank y'all so much for joining and tuning in.
Appreciate it.
All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.